Alright, welcome back to a new playthrough, and this is gonna be, well, working title SpaceJosef, I guess. So this is gonna be a self-expanding factory using the space block mod. Um, I'm not 100% sure what direction exactly this is gonna go into, but I'm definitely gonna do a few things differently compared to Joseph. Namely, well, I want to compartmentalize as much as possible and kind of let the system sort itself out. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm gonna have, at least this is the plan for now. I'm not sure if I can do this, but well, we'll see, I guess. I'm gonna have, for example, this cell only making iron ore, and then another cell only making copper ore, another cell only making like iron plate. Everything should be compartmentalized as much as possible. And then I'm gonna try and figure out an order of things. So basically I'm gonna say, okay, if there's not enough iron ore, build iron ore. If there is enough iron ore, move on to the next item, which is something like, I don't know, iron plate or copper ore or something like that. Build that. If there's enough of that, build the next thing. This is kind of the plan, to have a fixed priority of materials that I'm gonna build, and the first thing in the list that's not available in a large enough quantity is gonna be built. Um, I think what I'm gonna do. Okay, so there's a few things to figure out first. One is a general expansion mechanism. This is probably the second thing I'm gonna do. First thing is gonna be making a simple train cell. I think I'm gonna do 4 chunk wide cells. I might even go smaller. If like the thing is, when I'm only doing a single resource in every cell, I'm not gonna need giant cells, and I think it's gonna be nicer if I have small cells. They're gonna be faster to build, and yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna just play around and, well, build a little train grid in here and then decide if I'm gonna use this or if I'm gonna go for a smaller one. But well, I'm gonna want to fit in quite a few stations here, and yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with the 4 chunks that I have now. Yeah, give me a second to cook up a basic train grid, and then I'll cut back in a second. Okay, I've been going back and forth and trying and thinking, and well, I'm trying to run before I can walk, so I'm just gonna take a break here. Yeah, this is the basic train grid that I've come up with. Kind of looks like all my train grids, and well, I should maybe try and switch things up occasionally, but yeah, for now I think this is gonna be fine. I'm not sure that, well, it's probably or maybe not gonna stay like this, but this is a good enough prototype to try and build an expansion mechanism thing. Well, a few things that I want to do here. I want to have the possibility of uncoupled Roboport networks because, well, mainly for mining, I'm gonna go for try and maximize mining productivity in this run. And this means if I just build a mining column, well, maybe I should take a step back, and maybe not all of you saw my space block playthrough, and maybe I should explain a few things here. There's no ore patches anywhere. So instead I'm making ore by this special process here, which is basically a duplication process. And the way this works is I put 5 into this machine. And well, if I power it up, it's gonna take the 5 and make 6 out of it. You can see here it's running along and it made 6 out of 5. And then if I feed this back in, this is the way of generating ore, and well, oil works in a similar way and all of that. So and this does get a bonus from mining productivity. So every step of mining productivity I research, well, I might want to enable all the finite research. I'm not going to search for mining productivity here, but every step of this gives me 10% productivity bonus, which basically makes this duplication process 10% faster. So, well, if I plan things out for, say, making one full belt of iron ore, and then I research productivity bonus, then, well, I can't overfill this belt. So yeah, belts are not the best way to go when it comes to mining, I would say. I still did use belts in my last run and basically just didn't continue mining productivity research after a certain point. But well, I want to have a system that basically dynamically adjusts the ratio of mining cells to, say, iron smelting cells. So when I get more mining productivity, I want this mining cell here to basically increase in output. So the only real way to do this is robots. But I still need to have a global construction, a global robot grid to do construction things, or at least I think I have to. Well, I haven't really decided yet. I could probably somehow get around without it, but it would be difficult. And I haven't quite decided on this, but I think I want to have a global Roboport network, at least for now, and then the ability to either have this uncoupled or connected here, to be able to do bot transportation in here. And you can see it just so manages to reach these chests here. So yeah, I can fill all of these train stations with robots from the inside without being like connecting to the outside Roboport network. So yeah, I think at least this is what I'm gonna try for the mining cells. And then for everything else, I would like to use belts, and well, if I have fixed ratios, it's not really gonna matter. Something else I'm gonna need to decide is what level of tech I'm gonna use, because if I do module builds and like Mark III modules and stuff and beacons, this is gonna mean I'm gonna have to produce them, which is not gonna be easy at all. And well, if I just say go with red belts and Mark II assemblers and no modules, this would be a lot easier to build the necessary materials. I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, this is for a later episode. The first thing, well, as I said, this is going to be a self-expanding factory. So the first important thing is, well, the expanding part. So well, the very first important thing is I'm gonna have to enable the recursive blueprint mod because I forgot about that. So give me just 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Yeah, maybe for those who don't know the recursive blueprints mod, just a very quick intro here. It adds this little thing, which looks tiny, but basically carries the world in it. If you want to be a little bit dramatic about it, yeah, what this does is I can put a blueprint in there. I'm just gonna demonstrate that real quick. Make a blueprint. Make a blueprint of this, and put this in here, and put it in here. Okay, so now there's a blueprint of a chest in there, and then I can tell it to deploy that blueprint because it's a blueprint deployer. And the way this is done is I can put a few things in here, namely, well, the first thing I'm going to have to put in is a construction dot equal to 1. This just tells the deployer to start working. The next thing I want to do is put in offset values, x say -3 and y equal, I don't know, 2. And this just tells the blueprint deployer where to put the blueprint. I'm gonna get into how it works with larger blueprints in a second, but for now I'm just gonna turn it on. And it builds the blueprint, deploys the blueprint 3 tiles to the left and 2 tiles to the bottom, because that's the values I put in, and if I try to remove it, it's put right back. Yeah, this can lead to some very annoying situations where you have some rogue blueprints being planted and you wonder why there's power poles where they shouldn't go, and then you deconstruct them and you just get them right back. And of course, if I turn it off and remove it, then it's gone. If I turn it back on, it reappears. Okay, so much for this. That's the very, very basic way this mod works. And now for the harder part, well, now I'm probably gonna mess up, but I'm just gonna try something here and blueprint my whole cell. Let me think how I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna include the landfill. Well, maybe I'm actually gonna, yeah, no, never mind. And let's think, this is 4 chunks, so this should be 128 because it's 32 by times 4. And then I'm just gonna align it like this and just hope that it works. And I'm fairly confident that it will. Okay, so now I have an aligned blueprint, and the blueprint deployer is, well, it's inside this big cell here, which means if I just say deploy the blueprint, somewhere in here it's gonna place it exactly on this blueprint. Maybe that's the first thing I'm gonna try. Did I make a blueprint? Yeah. So if I put this in here, and I'm just gonna leave the offset values as they are, and I think this should not change anything because, well, this is basically going to try placing the blueprint here, which is inside this big cell, so it should just not do anything, I hope. Yeah, I think this worked, and we can easily check this by, okay, this did not work. Crap. I knew I was gonna mess up. Why aren't you placing this? Ah, because I turned you off. Okay, never mind, it did work. Okay, so now I'm basically just placing this cell that's already placed. But if I turn this off again, and I'm getting confused. Ah, I know what's going on. It's turning itself off because the blueprint contains this combinator in the off state. So if I turn it on, it places itself on top of itself in the turned off state. So what I want to do here is kick out this combinator, just to not get myself confused anymore. Okay, so now it's on, and if I remove it, it's still on. Perfect. Actually, this way of placing combinator settings on top of themselves is probably going to be important later. But yeah, or at least it has been important in the previous Josef version. Okay, so sorry. So if I now say place this further to the left and also further to the bottom, this should give me an offset of, well, -1 cell, so here, and then +1 cell to the south. So this should attempt building this cell. I think what I'm going to do for now is just give it the landfill that it needs to do that, because I don't want to complicate things more than necessary right now. Okay, let's see if I turn this back on. Then you can already see on the map view it builds this cell. Well, I didn't quite give it enough landfill, I guess. Why? Well, this is weird. Oops. Can I not? Okay, so yeah, now it's blueprinted this cell. Of course, it's not being built because there's no materials. But yeah, this is the way of offsetting and building new cells. And of course, if I change remove the Y offset now and only have the X offset, then it starts placing this cell, and coincidentally started placing landfill on here. But yeah, this is just a little messy. So yeah, what I'm gonna have to do is figure out the mechanism of basically cycling around in a circle and then increasing and cycling around in the next. Well, it's not technically a circle, I guess, you know what I mean. So I want to basically spiral outwards like this. And I did already have a mechanism, but I'm gonna try and rebuild it, and yeah, I'll cut back in once or if I manage to do it, I think. First of all, I'm gonna want to remove all this junk here. Entity ghost and tile ghost, and go ham. Come on, this is still being placed, of course. So maybe turn this off first and then try this again. Okay, so now I'm basically where I started. This is annoying me. Yeah, I'm basically where I started, and I'm gonna try and come up with a little expansion mechanism and yeah, explain it once it's done, because this is too complicated to do it on the fly. Okay, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is I forgot to record my building of this. The good news is it would have looked terrible anyway. And yeah, the basic system is finished, I think. This is very, very similar to the one that I built for the big Josef. Well, it's not quite finished, but if you just check, well, I'm gonna slow things down here and just move tick by tick, and you can see the offset on the substation here, that now it's -28 in Y direction, 128, and nothing in X direction. And then if I move this a little more, well, I could have maybe done this a bit more elegantly, but if I move things a bit more, the offset is going to be 128 in X direction, -128 in Y direction, and yeah, it's going to move around in a circle. Now it's 0 in Y direction and +128 in X direction. Then now I missed it. Now it's both positive, now it's only Y, and now it's both negative, and so on. So yeah, the position of wires in these chests indicates my current offset. And well, what I'm doing now, I can maybe just demonstrate that real quick. Ah crap, I think I got rid of the blueprint. Just gonna make a new one. 128 again. And this time I'm gonna remember to get rid of all of my logic things, because this is just gonna be annoying. Yeah, this should be fine, I guess. Yeah, I only want the basic grid thing. I could probably, well, it doesn't matter. And then just move this to the right position. I think, let's see, this should be right. Yeah. Okay, yeah, this snaps. And yeah, I'm gonna leave the landfill out of the equation for now and just give it a bit more landfill to work with. Like a lot more, I guess. Just like something like this. Yeah, this is looking much better. Well, not yet because you can't see it yet, but this is just, I mean, I am of course not gonna just paste landfill everywhere. This thing is gonna make its own landfill, but to test the expansion mechanism, this is just easier. Okay, so I have made the blueprint. I think for now I'm just gonna stick with yeah, just giving the constant output here and equal to 1. And once I hook this up, maybe have a look at the minimap. The building should start pretty much right away. And here we go. Yeah, of course, for now it's only going to go around in a circle. And what I have to do now is feed in more wires once there's... Ah, crap, I did make a mistake here, I just realized. Okay, well, there's a little bit more going into this. And I'm not sure, well, I'm quickly gonna go over how this works. So these two chests are linked up with green wires, as are these two chests, and go into this combinator here, which gives a negative minus 64 x output. This gives a positive 64 x output. These two are for negative y and positive y. Well, I'm doing this with the half the grid size, because every time I move a wire, say from here to here, I'm subtracting a wire from the left and adding a wire to the right. So I'm basically doing the double the amount of work that I need. So I'm using half the cell size, if that makes sense. Something else that I need to prevent from happening, and I'm gonna have to come up with something a little more sophisticated than I have here, is, well, I want only one of these inserters to swing at a time. So if I just let them run, these two inserters are going to activate at the same time now, because there's a wire here and here, and this one is going to move the bottom right wire before the second one has arrived here, and I want to prevent that. And well, what I did to prevent it so far is just say this inserter will only activate when there's two wires in here. Same for all of them. So this one will not activate until the second wire has come here. But yeah, I just realized this is of course not really scalable. Except... Oh, yes it is. I just came up with a weird workaround. I'm gonna see if this works, but I think this should be possible. Wait, how much? I think I'm gonna use a fast inserter. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit tricky to figure out. No, I'm just gonna use a long one as well for now. This is gonna be my infinite supply of new wires. And I want this to feed in basically once all of this has gone around in a loop and the only wires are in here. Meaning, how am I gonna do this? Give me 1 second to think about this. Okay, things got a little bit messy and I'm not 100% sure how well this is gonna work, or if I'm gonna just have to, well, get a do-over and do it a bit more properly. I don't really want to look at my old design because that's just gonna be boring. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna use this for now and prime it correctly and just see what it does. I'm gonna turn this off. This is gonna build a spiral and expand, but I'm not really sure how well this is gonna work. Yeah, I'm paused at the right now, so I'm just gonna prime everything, and then is this, yeah, this is on the belt. Okay, so this should be working now, and I'm gonna try and explain what's going on, but I think I'm just gonna first show what it does. So let's turn time back on and hope that this works. Okay, nothing's happening. That's kind of disappointing. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna have to prime this. Yeah, this is an easy mistake. Come on, why can't I pick this up? Here we go. I'm gonna have to prime it on this side. This should work, because, well, yeah, I'm gonna get into that in a second. First of all, let's just see if this works. Here we go, and it's spiraling, hopefully spiraling. Yes, it is. All right, perfect. So this seems to be working. Let's see if it can manage the next outward move. Yeah, seems like this is working. Of course, it's already running out of space here, but that's fine. Okay, so yeah, the first important step and the main expansion step, I guess, is done. Yeah, this is gonna try and spiral further and further outward, but, well, there's not really anywhere to go, so there's not really a point. Okay, I'm gonna turn this off for a second, and yeah, now it's turned off, and rebuild it real quick and then explain what's going on here. Okay, so as I said, the positions of wires in these chests give me the output. One thing that I didn't explain before that I already had in place was a little safeguard, because I never want to have only a wire in here and no wire in here. Say when this inserter is mid-swing, I'm gonna have the wrong offset. So all of these two are set to hold, like read hand content hold, and I'm giving a turn off signal whenever one of them is carrying a wire. So only when the wires are in the chests, then I'm gonna use the output from all of this. This is just done by only if this red signal is equal to 0, output everything else. Okay, so yeah, this is the main, basically giving me my coordinates. And then I have to put in new wire every now and then. And the way I'm doing this is, well, I have this parameter n here, which is telling me how many wires are in this system currently. This is done by just reading this with a pulse, and every time this swings, this basically gets stored in these two combinators as an n value. So I'm multiplying it by 1 and outputting it as n, and this is looped back on itself, so just storing the n value. And all of these n values are given out to the different inserters here. I had to, well, I'm running out of signal colors, so I couldn't manage to get this in there without using extra combinators. These four here, like this and this and this and this, their only job is to basically be a one-way filter. So I'm not mixing up signals backwards here. Otherwise, if I connected those directly to here and here and here and here, this would mess up my whole system. Yeah, the only thing I need to do then is feed in more wires at the right point. And yeah, this was pretty easy in the end, but it took some trial and error. The way I'm doing this is comparing this same n signal here to the number of, well, actually, no, I'm not anymore. This connection can go, I think. Yeah, I came up with an easier way of doing this, namely just waiting until there's more than 1 in these 2 chests, and then waiting until there's 1 again in these 2 chests. This basically means, okay, these are gonna fill up. Actually, no, I can't do more than 1, I think. Yeah, waiting until the wires are down here, and then waiting until only the last wire is in here. And then, actually, I could probably set this to 0. I'm not sure. I'm gonna try this real quick. So let's feed in another red wire here. This should work as well. No, it's not. Why not? Because they were, never mind. But anyway, I want to see if there's anything happening, so I'm just gonna get rid of all of this. Yeah, this, as you might be noticing, this is still taking a few adjustments. Okay, 200 wires in here, and then start this up again. And now this is activating and starting to place the first cells here. And yeah, this is how I wanted it. I know it's not a perfect spiral, like I'm always gonna start on the edge point, on the corner point here, but I don't know, this seems right to me. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so yeah, it's waiting for all the wires to get down here, basically. And you can see once there's at least 2 in here, or at least 1, I think. And then this is just waiting for this chest to empty again. And when it's empty, this one swings and brings new wires in the mix. And like this, I'm gonna be able to expand outward and outward and outward as far as I want. Well, as far as these wires are gonna get me, but well, this is gonna be enough for 100 rings, and I'm never ever gonna be able to achieve this, so this is fine by me. Yeah, this is the slightly messy way I'm doing spiral expansion. There's lots more ways you can do this. You can of course just use combinators. I just kind of like having the physical representations here, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, I enjoy just how do I phrase this? If I only had combinators here, you wouldn't have the slightest idea what's going on. And I think, I mean, this is still a weird system, but I think this kind of is a nice graphical representation of what's going on, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going to be able to see, okay, I'm building cells on the right side now, I'm going towards the bottom right, now I'm in the bottom right corner, and now I'm building the bottom row here. Of course, I'm not just gonna keep this running all the time, so what's still missing is kind of a mechanism to turn this on at the right time. And I might just be able to use these combinators here. Haven't thought this through, but I might just give a massive, like n equal to minus 10 million, unless I want to build a new cell. This should be enough to make this work. Yeah, so I've already filled my little landfill patch here. Let's get rid of all of this and all of this and rebuild it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make my life a little bit easier by including, well, I can include infinity chests here, and I can prime this system by infinity chests, and yeah, make things a little bit easier, because this is gonna need a lot of trial and error. Why is there, I think I did mess this up before. But yeah, I think this is gonna work out great. It's gonna take some time, of course, and I'm not really sure how regular the episodes are gonna be. I'm gonna try my best, of course, but yeah, it's not gonna be a daily thing. It just takes too much testing and too much fiddling for that. Yeah, I think this is all I have for today. I'm gonna play around a little more with the expansion mechanism, and as I said, introduce kind of an on-off switch So I can only like build one cell, then wait until it's built, then start building the next cell and so on. But I think this is a decent start, and yeah, I think this is going to be a fun playthrough. There is going to be a lot of designing cells as well, especially if I'm doing the fully compartmentalized building. So yeah, if you're just in it for the time lapses, it's not going to be too much of that. It's not going to be just like the same playthrough, because this just needs more combinator work and more like logic, almost, well, I don't want to call it programming, but it's close, I guess. But yeah, I think this is still going to be fun, and I'm going to try and keep it as understandable as possible. Let me know what you think about this so far. Alright, so thanks for watching, and maybe see you next time.